Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors and Stone Creek Hound Supply. Be sure to check them out for all your hound hunting needs. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
So I had a squirrel dog. I was into squirrel dogs my whole life.
Mhm.
And I ended up getting a Laika. Got my first Laika from Carlton, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Mr. Carlton's Savoy that was just
Yes,
on?
sir. Yes, sir.
Which, hang on
We
one
go.
second. I got to give Carlton a little plug here. You know, he's not a
Mm-hmm.
sponsor or anything, but he sent me one of his vests, and man, it's nice.
Man, I have the same one now that I had when I was 14. I'm 29 now.
Okay. You got to give us a little more reference here.
Yeah, it holds up. That sucker holds up. I mean, I've had 20 squirrels in it. No telling how many coons at one time. Yeah, just you don't hardly feel it. But yeah. So, but yeah, he gave me my first Laika. He ended up getting one from Arkansas, and this was when I was about 15 years old. And I seen him in the pen. Just kind of, I knew about them just looking on Squirrel Dog Central, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, he loved it because he's an awesome dog, but he wouldn't hunt with other dogs.
Okay.
You know, squirrel came down and there was trouble, you know.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting him for a pretty decent price, and that got me hooked on Laikas. But so long story short, I skipped to 2019. I was hunting a Laika named Snow, a white Laika, and so it was the last hunt of 2019 squirrel hunting, and we killed 10 squirrels, and we were ending the hunt. She's barking like 150 yards away, going nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, she's either treating a coon or she's looking at something, you know?
Yeah.
And we walk up there, and she's got two hogs bait up.
Nice.
And it's just, we're looking, I'm kind of frozen in the moment. I got a 22 rifle with me, you know?
Yeah, you weren't prepared for that.
No. And I mean, they were like 150-pound pigs. And I just never, you know, I've been hog hunting before, but I didn't think situationally, you know, I was hunting with multiple cur dogs and doing the catching and going miles before they got stopped and this and that, you know, and she ran up on pigs 100 yards away. And from then on, man, it was I started finding myself, I was coon hunting her, but I was kind of looking for pigs, you know?
There you go.
And it's just that adrenaline rush from walking up on those pigs and seeing the possibility of it. That's what kind of got me hooked onto it. And I think of the very next hunt, I went try to make a coon hunt, quotes, you know. And yes, she ended up catching a piglet. We went in the same exact spot where she got on them two. She caught a piglet, and I was like, yeah. It started, like I said, I was still squirrel hunting, passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then what kind of made me make the full turn to hog hunting was Hurricane Ida came and kind of ruined the woods for squirrel hunting. You know, and we had more trees down in the woods than up. You know, and a dog can't harm a tree when the thin wise is too hard. But it was really good for the pigs, deer, everything else. And so then we just went all out. You know, me and my buddy Don, we got into it, and I just started doing a lot of research on the Laikas, and you know, just seeing on YouTube just people hunting wild boar with Laikas. Yeah. You know, not a very common thing here in America.
No, it's really not, which is funny, seeing that's very common with them over in Europe. And, you know, just how they have not made that transition to hog dogs here for the most part. So
yeah, I know, personally, I know two other guys besides myself that hunt with Laikas full time on hogs. And they do great. Yeah. And but yeah, it's like you said, it's some of the guys I know in Sweden. That's how I reached out to people to get more information and increase my knowledge on them. Yeah. And you know, in Sweden, Norway, especially Ukraine, that's their primary dog they're using. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's Eric that was on the podcast. He's been on twice now. He's from Sweden. He's got Russo-European Laikas. He moose hunts, but he also hunts wild boar with his.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I enjoyed that podcast. That was a good one. I talked to him quite a bit here and there.
Okay.
Yes,
well, before we get too far into this, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Adam Vu. I live in South Louisiana. Currently live around the Baton Rouge area.
Okay.
And yeah, I came up. I got introduced to dog hunting in general with my grandpa with rabbit dogs.
Okay.
And yeah, he took me when I could walk, and slowly I got into squirrel dogs when I was around 12.
What made you make that jump from rabbit dogs to squirrel dogs?
So I was kind of just running around the neighborhood shooting squirrels with pellet guns, and then going on YouTube and seeing that you can actually, I didn't know a squirrel dog existed,
Okay.
Back down here in Louisiana, they don't really, there wasn't as big where I'm from,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in the Baton Rouge area, but I grew up further south, towards like, I don't know if anybody knows like the Zalman's Homa area.
Okay.
And a lot of rabbit dogs, but hardly no squirrel dogs. So just looking on YouTube and seeing fights, the first ones that piqued my interest. And
yeah,
and I was like all game, where the red fern grows.
Yeah.
I just want to see. I like seeing a dog tree, and then I end up getting hooked on that.
Definitely.
And I mean, that was the majority of my life was just squirrel dogs. And like you said, I know you know Darren Petty.
Yes.
And yeah, he and I mean, since I had that street dog, that first Laika dog I had, that's when I was 15. That was 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He and I have been friends since then.
Yeah, he's been on me. Get you on here. He's like, man, I got this guy. He hog hunts these Laikas down in Louisiana, and he was telling me all about you. I was like, all right, yep.
He's as good as they come, man.
He is.
I've been knowing him forever, and just so much. I mean, we were hunting Laikas in the golden age of Laikas, man. They didn't have a 4-month-old Laika at that time that wasn't treeing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I see it kind of changing a little bit now.
Oh, I'm sure.
It just happens with popularity,
Oh, yeah. Where before it was like the only people that really had Laikas were the serious Laika hunters,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. We're people who are putting them in the woods as much as possible,
Yep.
And yeah, they were so natural. But I really think they would, and I mean, that's what they're bred for, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
I think they would hunt anything that you put them on from a pup.
Yeah.
I think, I mean,
well, that's what.
Of course, you increase your odds with the, with the breeding, but I mean, you talk to some of the Ukrainian guys, they don't believe you have a Laika if you can't tree, bay, and do, all the above.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
No, that's like when me and Darren talked to, we talked about the versatility of them and how from, upland birds to tree game, and even now Alex, treeing bears here, which I'm not saying somebody didn't do it before him, but he's the one that's kind of made it popular and well known.
Oh, no doubt. He's doing a fantastic job. I mean, I love what he's doing, pushing these Laikas out like that.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a different style, especially like for the hog hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, like I said, I grew up with a couple guys and hog hunted with them, and they had some really good dogs, cur dogs, but I guess I didn't really love the. I don't get me wrong. I see the joy of like catching them,
mm-hmm.
being able to catch them, and bar and whatnot. But to me, it was like, when you have a dog. When I see one dog bay, it seems like they're able to stop them a lot quicker.
Okay.
Now that's controversial, but it seems like the pigs are less scared, depending on the size of the pig, right?
Yeah.
These bigger pigs, and then the Laikas are completely quiet on track.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like they're, they put teeth on them and they'll shut them down. Then they sit back and bay. Then the injuries are far less as well.
Yeah.
So
when
things like that just is kind of what's been more interesting to me. Like
mm-hmm.
the most exciting part for it is sneaking into a bay.
Yeah. Now,
for me, that's what excites me.
Have you ever had your Laikas catch?
They will. Matter of fact, I have 2 of them that I'm not gonna say I messed up with them. They were basically two Laikas that wasn't gonna make it as squirrel dogs.
Okay.
So one I got from an old buddy of mine, and he was already old. I mean, he was like 3 years old when I got him.
Mm-hmm.
And then one was actually from Darren.
Okay.
And and they just wasn't making it as squirrel dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of messed up. You know, I knew. I guess I kind of knew I was doing wrong, but like I said, I was reaching out to a bunch of buddies out in Sweden and getting training advice and what to do, what not to do. And they told me, and I guess just the excitement got me. But basically, they were catching smaller ones.
Yeah.
Anything 60 pounds and under.
Okay.
And I was just taking those to them. So then the game became, if I hunt those two together, it's more like, can I separate pigs from this group and catch them, instead of trying to get a big one out there and bay it up.
I got you.
So they're like, they will bay. Don't get me wrong. If they get on solo one by itself, they'll go out there, they'll bay it up and do what they have to do. But they if they can, they will try to catch, and that's a little frustrating.
Yeah,
but it's my fault. But it's certain situations I can't hunt them. Yeah, I mean, I had to do it with the squirrel dogs too. You go through a million of them before you get it perfect.
Yeah. Now it's funny though that you said you took some squirrel dog rejects and made hog dogs out of them. A couple of years ago, I sent a coon dog reject down to Louisiana, and he apparently made a pretty good hog dog too.
Really?
Yep.
It was a hound?
He was a leopard. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Depends on what you want to call them. Hounds, curs. His paper said hound, but if you looked at him, you would say he was a cur dog.
Yeah. But this pup I got now that he's coming on 2 years old now. He's doing phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's everything I want him. But I worked hard with this little pup. It's just getting him to sit back and bay and not wanting him to catch, and just knowing that was his job, hunting him completely by himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really when they get together, that confidence builds, and they get that wolf pack mentality.
I think that's with anything. You hear a lot of guys, even with cur dogs, they'll be like, they'll bay, but you put a couple of them together, they're more likely to catch, or a lot of times, especially if they're hunted with a catch dog a lot, they're like, once the catch dog gets there, they'll pile in too. They know. So,
and I think that's where like a lot of it came from, because, like I said, I was hunting with some of these guys, and I would notice, but quite often it seemed to be like that best dog was baying the pig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other dogs kind of came. Not saying they were Me Too dogs, but that's kind of what was happening a lot of times I was hunting. And then I was like, well, it seems like everything's going good while he's bayed up by himself. And what happens a lot of the times when these other dogs come in, that pig will either break or, they'll go to catch. And that seems to be where they're getting hurt,
Yep.
Because, when he's baying by himself, it almost seems like he could just do that all day. He's sitting back far enough and keeping a good distance. And that ended up being what I wanted. See if I could accomplish that with one dog. And then when I talk to these guys in Sweden, and that is the way. They don't believe in hunting with two dogs at all unless you're trying to drive pigs.
Yeah. It's funny the way the differences, like when Eric was here, when we drove the one morning down to where we were bear hunting, and me and him were just kind of talking about the differences. The way they hunt in Europe versus the way we hunt here is just vastly different. But hey, if hunting that style is working for you, that's awesome.
It has been. You get of course you lose out on all the benefits of being able to catch pigs, like what you can do with the pig once they're caught, right?
Yeah.
But I'm really a meat hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I love a good set of hooks myself, but I eat everything we kill, So it doesn't bother me. I can bay up 100, 150 pound sows all day long and be happy,
Mm-hmm.
Man, so but it's been great. Yeah, he's doing fantastic, and it's just two completely different styles when you talk. Because we have cur dogs as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a blackmouth. Our three main dogs right now is my dog Kylo, the Laika.
Okay.
We have a 5-year-old blackmouth named Daisy, and a 7-year-old Catahoula named Whiskey.
Okay.
And they're all three of them completely different. We just don't hunt them together.
Now, do you hunt the two cur dogs, the Catahoula and the blackmouth together?
Yeah, and they do. I mean, if it's 120 pounds or less, they do catch them, and they're just, unless it got some fight to them, they'll back up and bay.
Gotcha.
But yeah, generally we'll cut. Me and my partner Dom will cut separate ways, and I'll go with my Laika, and he'll go with the cur dogs.
Gotcha.
And it's just, my main thing is I train them to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And I just want to respect the lessons I've gotten from these guys, basically. They taught me the way, and like I said, it's working tremendously. I've had one, which was this past Sunday. This is the first race that took me over 500 yards.
Wow. Sounds really familiar to the way kind of Alex hunts bears. But the funny thing is Alex wants his dogs to engage the bear and kind of put a lot of pressure on them to make them tree, where you kind of want your dog to stand back and not necessarily put as much pressure.
Exactly. I want that pressure immediately so that pig feels like it has to turn. But once it's turned, it feels like its safest option is to just stand its ground, because if it turns, it's going to get bitten on the butt,
Yeah. Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
So you just have to, the only caveat is you have to be quiet walking in, and that's the exciting part to me. You got to pay attention to the wind direction. The pig's best sense is their nose. Yeah. So pay attention to the wind, sneak in as they're bayed up, walk only when the dog's barking, Yeah, that's the most exciting part for me. And I think that's, by taking one dog, you get the most out of that dog. I feel like they hone their ability a lot better like that. And like I said, with the bears, it's different because, like you said, you're putting pressure on them to tree.
Yeah.
So I definitely see them taking multiple dogs and having more success that way.
Yeah. I just think it's funny. Just same breed of dog, just you want to, such a different style.
Yeah.
In some regards, it's kind of
for
funny.
Sure. And like I said, Daisy, the blackmouth and Whiskey, they work good together because, see, Daisy, to be honest, if the pig's gonna run, she's gonna run them. Mm-hmm. Most of her pigs go over a mile.
Okay.
But if she's got Whiskey with her, he'll shut them down because he is trying to catch them.
Gotcha.
But he puts a little more pressure, so they work good together.
Mm-hmm.
I just really think every dog increases those odds. Every dog you add, they just increase those odds of cuts.
Oh yeah.
I did kind of like I don't know what you say, kind of like a personal little survey, just talking to some of my friends in Sweden, some of them from the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
See, in Sweden it's different. I'm not Sweden. In Ukraine it's different. They only use Laikas, but they use multiple Laikas on wild boar.
Okay.
But the rate at which they're experiencing injuries is insane. I'm not going to put names or numbers, but
very high.
Yeah, extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
Just almost expected, almost every hunt, like someone's getting cut, right? And in Sweden, the majority of mine said they know of a few injuries, but they know of 0 fatalities.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of, the numbers were astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, it's obvious right there, right?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
More dogs. A, confidence. B, you see it in the bear world too. You get too many hounds in there, and they can't get out of each other's way, or they run into each other. And
for sure, especially even if it's thick, like
yeah.
And then typically where I'm hunting is far thicker. Down here in South Louisiana.
Yeah.
Thick marsh, swamps, and so yeah, just try to minimize that as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. No, I think that's smart. And who really wants vet bills? I mean, ultimately, vet's too daggone expensive to be a frequent flyer.
Yes, sir. No, got lucky so far. No injuries on this end with my Laika.
Good.
But there are instances where both types of dogs are beneficial. So this last hunt, Kylo got on a group of like medium-sized pigs. So those medium-sized pigs, they're track stars.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to stop. They're real nervous, but can run. They're big enough to run.
Yeah.
But Kylo's not gonna catch them. So, I mean, he had this group, and he bayed them up probably 10 times within 3/4 of a mile.
Oh, geez.
Before, and they just wouldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
They would stop. He'd be able to bail them. They would move, bail, move. Now, if I had those two Laikas, they'd have took one out that group. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it could have been beneficial there. So there's definitely ups and downs to both. So I'm not saying either one's right. Mm-hmm. Just one is more my style.
Exactly.
And I could see, because like one of the guys I was telling you that I know here, he actually lives in Carolina that uses Laikas, and he uses a pack of Laikas.
Okay.
So I mean, I didn't ask him about injuries and whatnot, but he has success. And the guy I know out in Arkansas, he uses a Laika with hounds.
Huh.
He's got I don't know what the other ones are, but I know he's got a real good red tick.
Okay.
That he hunts her with, and I guess it's kind of like that Daisy whiskey situation. I would assume that that red tick's finding them older tracks, and the Laika is able to put that speed on it.
Yeah.
And when I talk to them, that's what, just out of curiosity to see what they like about the Laikas over the cur dogs, or not over, or what they like, what they add to their pack,
Yep.
And their number one thing was speed.
I've heard that before. That on a good hot track that they can fly past.
They just seem to win and cut the line. They're not really taking that track in such a following directly behind that track. They're just kind of cutting it and beelining straight towards where they win in the game.
Yeah.
Like I said, neither's better. Just whatever's good for what you enjoy, really.
Yeah.
And then a lot of my blocks of woods, you really have a limited area you can hunt.
Okay.
And it's far easier to control a dog like that,
Oh yeah.
So it's
same reason I hunt the style dogs I hunt,
Yeah. So they're kind of closer range dogs, or?
Yep.
Okay.
And all of them have a good recall. I can, they can be working a track. I can hit its own button and they'll turn around and come on back.
Yep. I love that.
Because I got too many houses and too many around here.
Yeah, that's where it is. I mean, we got places with pigs that are right behind people's houses.
Yeah.
And I can hunt them,
That same thing. The one place I hunt, it's not a very big place. And if they blow through it, they're in people's backyards. Now, if we hunt the woods, we're okay. But if I had a dog that blew through and wouldn't hunt, through the woods, then, I know a lot of people that could not turn their dog loose there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we definitely have spots like that blackmouth Daisy where I'm talking about. We have spots where we really have to watch hunting her. And she's tone broke. She'll listen to the tone, but it kind of depends on how far she is on the track too.
Yep.
If she's already half a mile to a mile in, then it's kind of you're playing her game then.
For sure.
But she's good. I mean, dang good.
Stone Creek Hound Supply
The family-operated business boasts over 50 years of involvement in hounds. For over 2 decades, they've been dedicated to supplying high-quality hound gear. Their reputation is founded on unparalleled quality and exceptional customer service. Crafted from U.S. source materials, Stone Creek clothing is meticulously manufactured right here in Pennsylvania. Through their commitment to excellence, many of their customers have become lifelong friends.
That's another thing, you're right. If you want to go out to the woods, and I want to say, like, there's one pig in this block of woods. If I had to pick one dog out of everything we have to find that one pig, I'd probably pick her.
Okay.
Just I don't know if she's cold or nose or just that experience she has.
Yeah.
Because she just doesn't quit till she finds it.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Probably a little combination of all of it.
Exactly. So there's benefits to both, but for me, like, what we see so far, like, if we want, the biggest thing is if we want to stop a pig quick, it seems like taking Kylo by himself has been the most beneficial.
Okay.
Like I said, this is the first time. Sunday was the first time that he's ever jumped a pig, and it took him more than 500 yards to stop it, which is phenomenal. I haven't even, growing up hunting pigs with other guys, I've never experienced that.
Like I said, every time you say stuff like that, it just makes me think back to, these other Laika guys like Alex telling me about when he hunts bears. So
yeah.
I just see, like, they're very similar across the board, in a lot of ways.
I think a lot of it, too, is just how, like, nimble they run. They don't really truck through the woods. They kind of glide through the woods. So
okay.
I feel like it's really important the way they jump the animal.
Okay.
If that animal doesn't know they're there till they're on top of them, it's at such a disadvantage, right? I mean, yeah, I think that's what happens a lot. I mean, it's just what I'm seeing is because 500 yards is actually, I'm kind of giving him a lot. Really, it's been like he's shutting them down within 200-300 yards.
Nice.
And it just seems like he's kind of creeping up on him, but fast. It kind of sounds like similar whenever you had Jake on there with the elk hound.
Yep, I was going to ask if you'd listen to that, because I see a lot of similarities between those elk hounds and the Laikas as well.
Yeah, and in Sweden they use the elk hounds as well.
Yeah,
they use elk hounds, but they're typically, Jake uses I know they use a pack of elk hounds, so it's a little bit different. But I know, like, in the Nordic countries, they have their elk hounds typically bay a lot further back. So there's a benefit to that too, because a lot of times the game will just stand where they're found.
Yep.
Because of such little pressure. But also they'll do like a walk-in bay where that pig will just walk and the elk hound will just stay with them and bark.
Yep.
Which is acceptable for them. So the Laika is a little bit tighter. And I think I like that a little more.
Okay.
You may have, you're typically going to jump the pig. They're going to run first because of the pressure. But I like the pig to know that if it tries to run, it's going to have teeth on the butt,
Yeah.
So.
Now, since you've made this switch to hog hunting, do you squirrel and coon hunt anymore, or are you strictly hog hunting now?
Man, I think about it all the time. Currently, what I miss more than anything, I feel like right now, is running coon hounds.
Yeah.
Because it's just completely different. You hunt a Laika, you're trying to get meat, right? You're trying to get fast, quick, efficiency, right? But when I'm running with those hounds, I'm trying to listen to something,
Yeah.
So I do miss that a lot.
Okay.
But I'm not really hunting, not doing much. Especially, like I said, most of my good spots are still ruined. It usually takes like 10 years to bounce back from some of these hurricanes.
Jeez.
But I do want to go. I had a job that was kind of hurting my hunting schedule really bad. Recently got out of that job, and so things turned around good for me. But I could be hunting with Carlton pretty much anytime I want to. We're really close.
Yeah.
He lives like 10 minutes from me.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that that Laika he was talking about, that was snow. That was that white one I was telling you about.
Nice.
That's her. Yeah. So, I mean, I do miss it sometimes, but it's just the adrenaline rush. That's what got me. Walking into a bay is just, it's too addicting.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I've hog hunted, I've bear hunted, I coon and squirrel hunted, and I know the people that listen to this podcast know this. I would wholeheartedly prefer to run some sort of big game over coon and squirrel. Because that adrenaline rush is real, and it's just totally different. I enjoy hearing my dogs tree a coon, but there is a big difference walking in and seeing a coon and walking in and seeing a bear. And the same thing, I've hog hunted one time, and I don't know how you slipped through the woods trying to be quiet, because when them dogs bayed and we sent that catch dog, I was trucking through the woods trying to get to that bay, because it was like it was exciting.
Yeah. And that's man, if you watch my videos, I'm creeping through the woods. I'm like, damn, I'm listening to my video. I'm out of breath. But I'm holding my breath the whole time, sneaking in. You know what I mean? And I finally get it, and I let myself breathe. I'm like, but that's the difference, right? Like, the catch is, it's exciting. You can just run in, truck in. You really want to, right? You want to get there as fast as possible. But when you got a dog baying like that, you kind of got to fight against that urge.
No, I understand.
The worst part, man, I had one not too long ago, like 3 weeks ago. I actually posted it on my story, and I just kept pushing that stuff to 10 yards.
Oh, man.
10 yards in the marsh. And yeah, that was the worst. But I couldn't be quiet. I was waist high in water, and I was just trying to get through that was dumb. So I tried, and ended up having to call him off, because I was going to drown or he was going to drown. I was like, this was my legs are burnt right now. So, but like when I was doing the squirrel hunting, same thing. I didn't even think about big game hunting. I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't until it happened, and now once I did it once, it was just I'm chasing that, chasing that feeling. Yeah. It's get it every time. It's awesome.
It is for sure. So but you mentioned something that you do some YouTube, you make some YouTube videos, and
yes, sir.
So seeing I carry a camera fairly often in the woods, I'd love to know kind of your setup and what you're running, and how YouTube is treating you as a hog hunter.
So, kind of basic right now. So I started my channel way back when I was squirrel hunting. So, and that was the intention for that was for me to go back and watch my hunts.
Yeah.
So, just recently, last couple months, I started taking it a little more serious.
Okay.
But still, so we're still working towards getting good setups. Basically, right now, it's all of us with a GoPro.
Okay.
And but also all the hog hunting channels I follow, which are people who are baying and shooting, they're running GoPros, and those are my favorite types of videos to watch. So that's kind of why I went that direction. But it's been good. I mean, this last month, it's really like, it's not huge by any means, but this last month, the numbers have been flying up, and
good.
And we've been posting pretty often. And like I said, it was really with this job switch I had. I've been hitting the woods really hard and putting a lot of time into it. Kind of, Alex has been inspiring me. Just what he's doing with the Laikas, with the bears,
Yeah.
I kind of want to do that with the pigs. I just want to show what they're capable of. And like I said, there are a few people out there that are hunting them on pigs, so kind of already has like a little bit of a thing going on there. But
yeah,
it seems like I'm getting a lot of messages asking about them a lot. And
good deal. What's your YouTube channel?
Bayou Outlaws.
Bayou Outlaws.
Yes, sir. Bayou Outlaws. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, we do everything. Especially my partner Dominic Brown. He does everything from deer, duck, rabbit, fishing. So we'll be posting all kinds of stuff,
okay.
Frogging.
Yeah.
He does a lot more than me. I'm kind of more of a guy who chases 2 rabbits catches neither thing, I with a family and everything, it's if I'm gonna make really, really good dogs in a certain area, then I try to focus on that area,
No, I understand. You get too many irons in the fire, and you can't do any of them justice.
Yeah, as bad as I want to. I mean,
yeah,
I always get a little urge to get a rabbit dog, or like I said, a coon dog or something. And it's just like, nah, shut up, you don't have time for that.
You're a smart
Be
man.
realistic.
I got way too many dogs out here, and I'm like, that's my problem is, I'll just get another one, Ain't got time.
I hear that.
I don't have time to hunt the couple I got, and then I go get another one. So
yeah, I'm at the point where I got this last Laika I'm telling you about, Kylo. He's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a pet and a feed dog.
There you go.
But you never have a dog handled better. I'll tell you that.
I've heard that from a lot of people, and that's even hound guys will tell you. Hounds that are kept in the house.
The hounds I was hunting with, I would hunt with them every year. I have a buddy, Danny, out from Michigan. He would come down with a Walker and a Redbone. They were his house dogs, and I'm telling you, jam up coon dogs. And we'd have fun every year. I think they're both gone now, just age.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, can I give a shout out to a couple people?
Go for it, man.
So, I want to give a shout out to the people in Sweden that taught me everything I know about these Laikas. So I got like Mikael Anderson on Facebook, Eddie Helm. Except, of course, my buddy Darren Petty. So he was on the podcast with you.
Yeah.
And as far as Bayou Outlaws goes, my partner Dominic Brown, we're putting in the work. I appreciate everything he's doing. Him, his dad, Dominic Brown Sr. Yeah, about it, man. Just wanted to mention them, and those are the guys that I credit to. As far as the guys in Sweden, those are the guys I credit to learning what I know, and what I've been putting work into my dog since he was a pup.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and been good talking to
you. I appreciate you having me, man.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.